Welcome to India and England News. Our guests today are Deanna Hoying. She is the Executive Director of Symphony New Hampshire. Roger Kalia, he is a music director and conductor, and Indian American singer Anuradha Palakurthi. Symphony New Hampshire is going to celebrate its 100th year this year. And also this year, Anuradha Palakurthi is going to perform in their musical concert this year. For the first time, an Indian American or Indian singer will be performing at New Hampshire Symphony. We are going to talk with all of them about this exciting event and also listen to Deanna as well, that what the Symphony New Hampshire is doing for their 100th anniversary. So Deanna, let's start with you.
Wonderful. Yeah, we're very excited that Symphony New Hampshire is celebrating our 100th birthday on April 29th, 2023. We're going to be performing in the brand new Nashua Center for the Arts, which is also very exciting. It's also going to be the scene for our upcoming concert we're going to talk about in just a minute. So we're very happy to be in our new space, but still in New Hampshire and in Nashua in particular. And our concert is going to feature a lot of things from our past, including some pieces from the very first concert on April 29th, 1923, as well as a guest artist who was with us actually in 2001, who performed the Dvorak Cello Concerto then, and he's going to perform it with us again this year. So we're really excited to be celebrating 100 years. And it also has given us a chance to really reflect on 100 years of being an organization and what that means. And I think also what the next 100 years could look like. And I think what we're talking about today has a lot to do with how we want to be in the next 100 years.
Excellent. And also, I think it's very exciting to have Roger on board today. And he is really one of the young rising music directors and conductors in the country. So we are very excited to have you. And I think this will be your first time you are will be working with an Indian or Indian American singer. So let's start with you. What you plan to do and what your expectations are.
Yes. It's wonderful to speak with you today, and really very much looking forward to collaborating with Anuradha. This is the first time that I've ever performed actually with an Indian American singer. You know, growing up, I'm actually half Indian myself, so I was always around Bollywood music and Indian music, and I always thought to myself when I got into music, conducting in particular, how great would it be to do a concert with a full symphony orchestra and a Bollywood music, Indian music? And I said to myself, well, where would be a great place to do this? And sure enough, I said Symphony New Hampshire is the perfect orchestra for this. We have a very dedicated audience, but we also want to bring in new listeners. And that's part of the appeal for this concert, is to bring in an entirely new audience into the concert hall. And the music itself, I mean, I am no expert in the music of Bollywood, but I do know that in speaking with Anuradha, that there's so many great songs that are possible to bring to life with Symphony New Hampshire. And I'm very much looking forward to collaborating with Anuradha and bringing the classic Bollywood tunes to life, some new works, some older works. You know, a lot of this music is wonderful because it's meant for a symphony orchestra. You hear the strings in the background. And we'll be able to really feature not only Anuradha, but the orchestra as well. And that's really appealing to me as well. So what you're going to hear are, you know, anywhere from 20 to 30 different songs. And we're still working out the repertoire at the moment, trying to finalize all those details. But I know it's going to be a great concert. I'm very excited about it.
Excellent. Now, since you mentioned Bollywood, as I was telling you off the camera, that anyone who watches Bollywood movies must be familiar with your last name, Kalia. Okay? So there is a movie called Kalia in Bollywood, and also many Indian movies had this character, always have a character called Kalia. He will be
Yeah.
always the darkest complexion and always a villain. So, but in real life, they were the nicest people, all the villains in Indian movies. So
I'm so glad. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
okay. And also now moving to Anuradha, she is, of course, she's very well known in the Indian American community and also in India as a very prominent singer. She has sung with a lot of Bollywood stars and singers. So, and I'm so glad that she's, for the first time, she'll be performing at Symphony New Hampshire. So, Anuradha, question to you is what you are planning to do? And I'm just very curious that how Indian American or Bollywood singer is going to perform at Symphony. What is the thought process there?
Well, thank you, Pendra, for having me on this very exciting dialogue today. Yes, this is my first time ever that I'm going to be collaborating with a symphony orchestra. I'm very excited about that. And I met Roger for the first time. He's an upcoming, very talented, very busy conductor. So the challenge for me and some of the musicians in Mumbai who I've reached out to help me and Roger perform this, create music for this show, is how appropriately can we present the Bollywood, the entire spectacle of Bollywood music to a Western audience, and how to make it appealing to them, and at the same time keeping the core of the song. Every music is a song, to keep the core intact and not really digress too much from it. So that will be the challenge, and for that I have reached out to a few musicians in Mumbai and Ishan, some young music director. So we will present the song as it is, and also recraft some of the arrangement, rewrite a little bit of the score so that people won't even realize, because it has to be presented by the symphony and we have to bring out the symphony at its best. So the best has to be present, the best of the symphony, all the musicians and the instruments in the symphony, the best of the song, and I will do my best as the vocalist, and of course Roger will perform his magic. So that's going to be the challenge. So right now we are figuring out the list, and then once the list is intact, it can still change. Then we'll go into writing scores, and we're hoping it'll be done fast, and then the rehearsals and everything. So the highlight of the event is going to be the symphony presenting the genres. There's so many genres, Upendra, you know that in Bollywood.
Sure.
Where do we even start? So the first challenge is to pick the list, and the second is to make it appealing to everybody, so that the Indians who are familiar with the song say, oh, that song, oh my goodness. And the symphony also is very comfortable with the song.
So my question to Roger is that, those of us who grew up on Bollywood, and we see, generally you have, one actor or actresses, somewhere in the park dancing, singing together. So that's all, and that's what we are used to. Now, the question to you is how you are going to take that type of music and put it together for a symphony where so many musicians will be playing so many different instruments.
Yes, it's a challenge. I mean, we have a 55-piece orchestra, so anywhere, I would even say sometimes more than that, depending on the repertoire. You can have an orchestra size of 80 musicians, maybe 30 musicians if it's a chamber orchestra. So for this concert, we are planning on having a full orchestra, 55 or 60 musicians, hopefully. And the challenge is I work with the arranger, the composer, and we try to highlight the different orchestral sections. So the woodwinds, which are the flutes, the oboes, the brass, trumpets, trombones, and then the strings, of course. And the strings are the body of the orchestra. The most musicians in the orchestra are in the string section. So it's very important that the arrangements really feature the strings, of course, and percussion as well. This music is so rhythmic. It's very rhythmic. It has a groove to it. So our percussionists will really be a big part of these arrangements. They are going to be holding the groove down. And then there may be electronic instruments, because a lot of Bollywood music, especially new Bollywood, is mostly electronic music. So we are talking about incorporating electronic music and the possibility of even having a click track, which is essentially a like a beat in my ear. I wear an earpiece for perhaps for certain songs to make sure the electronics line up with the acoustic instruments. So
as you were talking about, I was just thinking in my mind is that maybe this will be for the first time the Bollywood song is really being played in any orchestra in the United States. I have not heard of anything.
Yes.
So can I just answer that to that question? You are right. I've heard of very famous playback singers come to United States and other parts of the world where they say they're playing with a symphony orchestra, but it is really not a symphony orchestra as we all know, as the one this new Nashua Symphony is. It is just many violinists who accompany the singer and they perform the song. So that's really not a symphony orchestra. Like Roger said, there are almost 60 musicians in an orchestra. So this is probably the first time that Indian movie cinema, I want to call music is going to be presented by a Western symphony orchestra.
Yeah, I think it seems like very exciting program, and I just cannot wait for this, to see how everything turns out. Now, before we move to the next segment of this, Deanna, the question for you, if you can talk a little bit about the date and time for Anuradha's program at the Symphony and when you are going to roll it out.
Sure. Yeah. October 21st, 2023 at 7:30 p.m. at the Nashua Center for the Arts is the date of the concert. Our official rollout of our 23-24 season, this is very much a part of that, is going to be on March 1st. So right around the corner. And we've got lots of wonderful surprises of what we're going to be doing next season. And this, of course, is a huge piece of our feeling about what we look like in year 101 and beyond, that we're celebrating a lot of different communities, a lot of different cultures. The ability of an orchestra to play all kinds of music is really quite vast. And to just feel like, well, we only do this kind or we only do that kind. Being an orchestra is so much more than that. And so that's part of what's so exciting about this concert is we can show that we can play all kinds of music and really celebrate Anuradha and her beautiful, beautiful vocals. I think it's going to be a really magical evening.
Thank you.
Now, if you can talk a little bit about auditorium, like, how many seats you will have there and what you are thinking. I'm very curious also that who is going to come to the auditorium and listen to us. I'm sure a lot of Indian Americans are going to be very curious and go there and how it will be received by the American audience. So if you can just talk a little bit about that.
Sure. I mean, the house is I believe it's about 740, 750 seats or so. It is a brand new auditorium. Again, it's still in the process of having the finishing touches on it. The very first shows that are going to be in there are going to be in April, including ours, which is at the end of April. So, I actually think, and this is interesting you asked that, because there are a few people who are in the know about this. We've kind of kept it a little quiet because we want to have the rollout when we're ready for it. Everyone who knows about it, including our board, just cannot wait. They're all like, I want to buy tickets to this. This is going to be so much fun. And that is not from an Indian audience. I mean, that is our, some of our constituents, our staff is just, they're chomping at the bit. They can hardly wait. So I really think that, because Bollywood is such a beautiful experience that I think a lot of people really enjoy. And so getting to hear this music live is not something that I think a lot of Western audiences get to do. We kind of live vicariously through the, YouTube and through the movies and all of that, which is wonderful. But as we all know, hearing something live is a very different experience. And I think one that it's almost visceral. You feel it in your body with the sounds of the orchestra and the sounds of the vocalist and those sound waves that hit you as you're sitting in the audience. I mean, there's really nothing like that. So I think a lot of people are excited about just the experience of getting to go and see this and hear this live.
And also, I mean, I'm very curious now myself that how the fusion or, the transformation of Bollywood into a real formal symphony, how is it going to work? how are you going to sound and how are you going to even look, So now, Roger, are you getting any musicians from India, or just everyone will be locally here?
Yeah, we're talking about, when Anuradha and I were speaking about this last time we met, and of course we want to feature the orchestra and Anuradha primarily, but there may be an opportunity to feature some other instrumentalists from India, as well as the surrounding areas, playing either traditional Indian instruments or even acoustic instruments as well. Maybe Anuradha can actually have a duet partner for certain works, a male singer who will sing some of these works with her. So we were going to do our best to really do as much as we can and really put on a great show. So,
we're just exploring all that, we're just talking planning stage right now, but it's coming up pretty fast. Clock's ticking, and I'm happy Deanna insisted that we roll out the date, talk about that first. I'm happy because that is that Diwali, the time for Indian Americans. It's a very busy time of the year, so we don't want anyone to miss it. And I must also mention Latha Mangipudi, who's the state rep for New Hampshire. She's been talking to me many times in the past couple of years and talking about the symphony and my performing with the symphony. So I must thank her for bringing us together for this.
Yeah, I mean, we started talking about this before the pandemic even began.
Really? Right. So that long? Huh?
It's been over 3 years in the making.
Wow.
Okay, excellent. So now, Anuradha, my question to you is: anything anybody does, anything innovative, new, it's challenging and it makes somebody excited and nervous. What is your state of mind? Because October 21st is going to come very soon.
Oh, I'm always nervous. I'm nervous if you ask me to sing now, Pendra. You know that.
This will be the first time I'm not going to ask you to sing, okay?
Thank you. Okay. Yes, I'm very nervous. I'm very excited because this is entirely new for me. And it's almost as if I'm singing with the orchestra alone. So it's a little daunting, but it's extremely exciting because all these new instruments, I've never done this before. I've always performed with musicians who are playing the entire score the way it is, So this is going to be new, and they will play the entire score. There'll be some new written scores, little bit of tweaking here and there, and I don't know, Roger might bring something new. So there might be a sitar which might be substituted by maybe a violin, or they may be just an unplugged version. So it's very exciting. The possibilities are endless, but I think I'm very excited to sing Bollywood music.
One more question, Anuradha, for you. Is there any name for this concert?
Oh, yes. We had so many suggestions and names from friends. And finally, there was one word that stood out to me, which was the word masala, which I think is a very well-known English word. I think the Western audience know that, the British know that. So, and of course, I wanted symphony in my name. So we decided Symphony Masala. So it seems like a nice amalgam of fusion of everything. So Roger, do you know what masala means?
Of course, yes. Masala being, the Indian spice, chicken tikka masala, all this great food. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it.
Masala also means like many ingredients in one and spice it up.
Yeah. And this is going to be that type of concert. It's going to have some spice. Let's just say that it will.
Yes.
So I think we should end this conversation with a Kalia dialogue. Kalia kitne aadmi the?
If you want to ask him how many people are going to be in the symphony, you can say, "Are o Kalia, kitne aadmi the?"
I'm going to.
Okay, it's all right. It's like Kupendra said, Kalia is a very popular villain name, but Kalia, Roger is going to be the hero.
Yes,
Everything is going to be in his hands. Bye, Roger. Bye.